Hey guys, we're here today for another episode of the Dyno Report. This week, we're going to take my GTI from this to this. I am beyond excited to finally be doing an exhaust upgrade on the GTI. Now, it's not a downpipe, so we're not really in it for the power, we're in it for the noise. And this noise is gonna be pretty good, I believe. I think it's gonna be really good. So, before we go any further, let's tell you where we're at right now. So the stock exhaust has a little bit of a sporty noise. It's not the best, but it's better than some cars where you get mostly just engine noise. However, since I've done a lot of intake mods and no exhaust, the noise you get from the car is mostly engine. I mean, the engine sounds great, but the exhaust is what's letting us down in the sound department. It could sound so much better. Now, the exhaust that I decided to purchase was actually one of the cheapest exhausts I could find. It is the Rev9 Catback exhaust. Now, it is not a 3-inch, it is a 2.5-inch. So that means it's not gonna be as loud, and that's something that I was personally very interested in. I don't need the loudest, the most ridiculous sounding GTI out there. That's not what I go for. This is a daily driver. And those 3-inch exhausts on 4-cylinder engines can really sound almost breathless. Like, they don't really have a note, they're just sound really bad, in my opinion. So I didn't want 3-inch. There was an option for this to have mufflers at the back, but I decided for just the resonator, no mufflers, just to make it a little bit more of a sporty noise. So I still wanted some, but I didn't want too much. And I really kind of knew that power wasn't gonna be anything you gain from a catback exhaust. It's gonna be mostly noise. So 2.5-inch doesn't matter to me. I'll get a 3-inch downpipe, and apparently the combination of the 3-inch downpipe and this Rev9 catback exhaust is fantastic. So I'm excited for that. But this car is doing pretty good on power. It's very sporty. The handling has been improved a lot. The subframe locking collar kit that we just did really helped turn in, and it's driving and handling great. But like I said, it doesn't sound as good as I would like it to sound. It could be just that much better. Now, I am interested to see how the install of this exhaust goes, because the stock clamp that is on there holding the catback in is pretty rusted and the bolts are facing up. So we'll see how it goes. Who knows? But I am really excited to get this in. There really isn't much else to talk about on this exhaust. So we're just gonna kind of jump right in. We're gonna get in, get this exhaust installed, and we're gonna see how it sounds. With enough PB blaster and a long enough breaker bar, anything is possible. That rusted clamp came off and we were able to get the new exhaust installed. If you would like to watch the full install video, please head over to my YouTube channel. Wonder if you can hear that inside the car on that audio. I mean, this exhaust sounds great. It is just enough of a growl to be aggressive, but it's not too loud. It complements the engine note we've got going. Oh, it is so good. We will have more videos directly comparing the stock and this new Rev9 catback exhaust directly, so be on the lookout for those. I'm gonna wait a little bit for the exhaust to settle in before I really film any of that, but so far this is awesome. The install was very easy. This car had so little rust, I was very excited, except the one thing that did have rust was the exhaust clamp. So that took a little while to get off, but once it did, it was super easy to get back on. The exhaust doesn't line up perfectly. One of the tips is further out than the other, and if you actually look at that Y pipe One of the pipes is actually a little bit longer than the other towards the exit. So I know they were back ordered. I know all that stuff. So I'm wondering if it was just a little bit of a, hey, we need to save time, so let's get this out a little bit sooner. I don't know. Someone else said they got the same thing. Might just happen every once in a while, and I got one. I am okay with it though, because I know I paid only $340 for this Catback exhaust, and it is fantastic. 4 cylinders were never meant to sound the best. I mean, some of them can sound really good, so that little bit of drone you hear on acceleration, I'm not worried about, because it's still a 4-cylinder engine. If you had a VR6, if you had a V8, anything like that, straight 6, that would be something I would really want to make sure sounded great. But 4 cylinders have never been the best sounding. My V6 Audi with the OBX Catback sounded fantastic. That was a V6, that sounded good. But Rev9 also claims, because of their minimal bends design and lack of a muffler, that you actually do gain horsepower from this. Now, you might gain a couple. I'm not entirely sure, because it is hopefully helping the exhaust gases escape the engine a little bit quicker to get more exhaust out and just more and more out. But the downpipe is the real thing for power on these Mark 6 GTIs. The Stage 2 tunes won't let you do them if you have the stock downpipe, but you can have a 3-inch downpipe and a stock catback and do a Stage 2. If you have a catback with the stock downpipe, you're out of luck. So we know that the downpipe is where the real power comes from, but I'm wondering what power gains there are, if there are any. Maybe a couple, 1 or 2, we don't know. But I bought this exhaust not for the power, but because it sounds great. I love how it sounds. I had some people send me videos before, so that I made sure before I bought it, even though it was the cheapest, that it still sounded good. Install was very easy. The 4-inch exhaust tips are awesome. It's just a subtle little touch to let other people know that you're not stock. So I like that. That and the stock tips were very, very sooty. So they looked very well worn. They didn't fit with the aesthetic of the car that was going right now. And these new tips are bigger, so it just looks cooler, and they're shiny because stainless steel. That's awesome. And I am excited about the weight savings. I love weight reduction. I love handling mods. So that's super cool. Saved about 20 pounds on the exhaust. That's cool. I mean, if you want to get nitpicky, that does raise the center of gravity, not lower it, because that exhaust is one of the lowest parts. So you give and take. I mean, it's not going to be a noticeable difference in center of gravity. It's not really going to be a noticeable difference in weight reduction. But we are eventually going to be doing a butt dyno report video on weight reduction. But it's just the simple stuff. So it's going to be removing the spare tire and removing the rear seats, and see what difference that makes on performance, both handling and acceleration. Because you take a couple 100 pounds out, which that might actually be, then you're going to see some gains. It might be a 10th. We'll find out. We'll see how it goes. But the fact that this exhaust does weigh less is great, because it'll add up over time. I'm going to replace the battery with, I think, a 12-pound battery, 14-pound battery, something very light. So that's going to save another about 20 pounds or so, 20, 30. So then you're looking at 40 pounds of weight reduction between those two things. And then the more you do, the more you save, and it'll add up. It compounds, because if you remove 20 pounds in 5 different areas, you've removed 100 pounds. And that's awesome. But you know what? This exhaust just sounds great. I am loving it. I know I say that a lot about a lot of mods, but I don't know, this GTI just responds so well to mods. It is amazing. Now, I know nothing about music. I am horrible at music. I went to Liberty University, and at convocations, we would sing worship songs. And I would sing at the top of my lungs. And I was so bad. Found this out on my wedding day. I was so bad that my friends would purposefully sit several seats away from me because I was that bad. So I know nothing about music. Now you're asking, why is he going on about music? That's because I wanted an exhaust that wasn't just loud, but had a good note to it. And 3-inch exhausts on 4-cylinder cars, like I've said several times, just sound breathless. They don't sound good. They just go for loud. And people, if you want to go for loud, go for loud. I really don't care. But for me, I don't like loud for the sake of loud. I don't really like loud noises. I want this to be a good sounding car, not a loud car. This Rev9 delivers. It's a 2.5-inch exhaust, not a 3-inch. So it's still got a little bit more noise because of the lack of mufflers and just a resonator, but it's not going to be as obnoxious, in my opinion, as a full 3-inch. And I think that this is a fantastic middle ground between noise, loudness, maybe even a little bit of power, lack of mufflers. You can get mufflers if you want. I decided not to, and I am very happy with that decision. Overall, this thing's great. Now, actually going to do something we haven't done in a while. We're going to do some 0 to 60 times. Yes, this technically is a power mod, so we're going to test 0 to 60 to see if we've added anything. But what we're going to do this time is might do a small little burnout to get some heat into the tires to see if that does anything. So let's do some times. We're trying to beat 6.4. Probably not. I think that might have been a nice fluke downhill run. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said downhill. My bad. Let's just get to the 0 to 60 times. No one's around. Traction control's off. So 0 to 60, run number 1. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's gonna be garbage. Seven flat. It's actually not terrible. It's not the worst run that it could have been. 7 flat. Little high on the RPMs there. Ready for run number 2 in 3, 2, 1. .8, got 0.2 off, a little bit of wheel spin. That's okay. Reset all that. Ready, run number 3 in 3, 2, 1. That's okay. That's okay. We had a 6.8. Not the best, not the worst. That's okay. It's fun to do stuff like that. We're gonna get some new tires eventually. I also need some new brakes. I know I constantly complain about the tires, but you know what? I think that really is something that is hindering me right now, is these old tires. Plus they're, how many different brands? There are 3 different brands on 4 tires. It's kind of crazy. So we're gonna get that situated, something that really does need to get taken care of soon. But I'm also not gonna pin it all on the tires. I haven't done runs in a long time, so I'm happy with the 6.8. I really wasn't anticipating really any power gains at all, so to even have a 6.8 I thought was pretty good. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Maybe I've convinced you into a Rev9, or you want some other Catback exhaust. But either way, this exhaust is fantastic, and you will not be disappointed if you go this route. It's also the cheapest that I've ever found. That's also name brand. It's fantastic. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, Jesus loves you. Bye.